The automatic doors wheeze open like tired lungs. Cold air rushes out, smelling of disinfectant and plastic, and something faintly sweet that reminds her of baby powder. Her arms ache, not dramatically, not enough to remind her. She is human and tired and holding too much. Aisha stands just inside the grocery store, shifting her weight from one foot to the other. The floor is too clean. It reflects her shoes' cheap sneakers with a crack along the sole. She notices the crack, because when you have nothing, you notice everything. The baby stirs. A soft whimper rises from the bundle pressed against her chest. The sound is small, but sharp, like a needle touching skin. Aisha lowers her head, her lips brushing the baby's knit cap. "Boss, John," she whispers. "Boss." Her voice is dry. She hasn't had water since morning. She told herself she didn't need it. She told herself a lot of things. The store hums. Refrigerators buzz. A cart rattles somewhere down an aisle. The cashier laughs too loudly, like someone trying to prove they're still alive. Aisha tightens her grip on the diaper bag slung over her shoulder. It is almost empty. One diaper left, folded neatly. Saved like a last bullet. She moves forward. Every step feels like walking into enemy territory. The diaper aisle is bright. Aggressively bright. Aggressively bright. Fluorescent lights glare down like interrogators who don't blink. Packages tower over her. Blue, green, yellow, smiling cartoon babies with soft bellies and full cheeks. Babies who have never known hunger. Babies who will never feel their mother's heart race at the register. She reaches out and touches a pack. The plastic crinkles under her fingers. The sound echoes too loudly in her head. Price. Calls it for 800. Her hand freezes. Her mind does the math automatically. Rent overdue. Electricity warning slip folded in her pocket. Milk measured by cups, not bottles. Bread counted by slices. Her chest tightens. She remembers another place. Another time. Diary entry, written in her phone, 3:12 a.m. I didn't know survival could feel this quiet. No bombs, no sirens, just shelves that say no. She slides the pack back. Her baby squirms. A wet warmth spreads against her shirt. Aisha knows immediately. Her stomach drops. She looks down, eyes burning. The last diaper failed. The cotton has given up. She imagines the rash that will come by night. Red skin. Cries that won't stop. Pain she can't explain away. She swallows. This is how captivity works, she thinks suddenly. Not chains, not guards. Just choices designed to break you slowly. She pushes the cart empty, except for a loaf of bread and a half-liter of milk toward the register. Each wheel squeaks like it's protesting. She rehearses the sentence in her head. Baji, Doda kam ho sakta hai? Can you remove this? I'll come back later. Later is a lie. Later has always been a lie. The line is long. Too long. The baby starts crying. Not softly now. This is the real cry. The one that vibrates through bone. Aisha feels heat crawl up her neck. She rocks gently, side to side, a motion learned in exhaustion. Someone behind her sighs. Someone else looks away too quickly. Then the smell hits. She knows they smell it. Her hands tremble. The cashier is a young girl, phone tucked beside the register like a secret weapon. She scans the bread. Beep, milk, beep. Total 408s, the girl says, bored. Aisha exhales shakily and opens her wallet. Inside a few notes, folded carefully. Counted too many times. She hesitates. Her eyes flick to the diaper aisle across the store, so close it hurts. Then, a shadow falls across the counter. The air changes, not louder, quieter. He stands there like a wall. Tall, heavy coat despite the heat. A face that looks carved rather than grown. His eyes move slowly, taking in details the way predators do not hungrily, but precisely. The store seems to lean away from him. Aisha doesn't look at him at first. She feels him, like pressure before a storm. The cashier straightens. "Sir." He raises a hand. "Wait." His voice is low. Calm. The kind of calm that has survived worse things. He looks at the baby. Really looks. The red face. The damp clothes. The tiny fists opening and closing like they're grasping for air. Something flickers. Not pity. Something older. He turns to Aisha. How many diapers you need? He asks. The question lands wrong, too direct, too dangerous. Aisha's heart slams against her ribs. I'm fine, she says quickly. Too quickly. Thank you. The lie tastes metallic. He doesn't argue. He nods once and turns to the cashier. Bring all the diaper packs, he says. Every size. The cashier blinks. All. I'll take them all. Silence. The refrigerators hum. Somewhere, a cart bumps into a shelf. Aisha shakes her head, panic flooding in. No, please, she whispers. I can't. He turns back to her. You don't have to, he says. Just stand. Her knees threaten to give out. The diapers pile up on the counter like sandbags. Blue, green, yellow. More than she has ever owned in her life. The smell of plastic and powder fills the air. Her baby quiets, as if sensing the shift, as if the war has paused. Aisha presses her hand to her mouth. This is wrong. This is dangerous. Men like him don't do things for free. Everyone knows that. Stories travel fast in neighborhoods like hers. Stories with whispers, with consequences. She remembers the warnings. They own you. Once you take something, her chest aches. He pays without looking at the total. The number doesn't matter to him. It never has. As they load the bags into a cart, his hand brushes hers by accident. His skin is warm, human, solid. She flinches. He notices. I won't ask for anything, he says quietly. Not now. Not ever. She looks up at him for the first time. His eyes are tired, not cruel. Tired like someone who has seen too many empty faces. Whispered thought, why is the enemy kinder than the world I trusted? Outside, the sun is blinding. The bags sit beside her like proof of treason, proof that survival sometimes comes from the wrong uniform. He walks with her to the curb. Cars pass. Life continues. No one stops. He pauses. You're doing good, he says, almost awkwardly, even if it doesn't feel like it. Then he leaves. No name, no threat, no promise, just absence. Aisha stands there, surrounded by diapers, her baby breathing softly against her chest. Her hands shake again, this time from relief, from fear, from a question that won't leave her. If monsters can be kind, what else have we been lied to about? The diapers sit in the corner of the room like quiet witnesses. Aisha doesn't unpack them all at once. She can't. It feels disrespectful somehow, like opening all the windows during a storm. She takes out one pack, then another, lining them carefully against the wall. The room smells faintly of damp cement and boiled rice. The ceiling fan clicks on every third rotation, a tired insect refusing to die. Outside, a motorcycle screams past, then fades, like a life she almost remembers. She changes the baby slowly. The fresh diaper is soft, too soft. It makes a sound like a sigh when she tapes it closed. Her fingers pause. This diaper costs more than her lunch, more than her dignity did 5 hours ago. The baby relaxes immediately. No squirming, no cry, just warmth, trust. Aisha closes her eyes. Diary entry. I thought relief would feel loud. It feels quiet, like shame sitting down beside gratitude and neither one speaking. Food abundance versus starvation at home. That night, she eats bread without counting the bites. She notices it only after the third mouthful, when she realizes she is chewing slowly, letting the taste linger. The crust scratches the roof of her mouth. The milk is slightly warm, but it still tastes like safety. Her stomach knots, not from hunger, but from memory. Yesterday she would have stopped halfway, saved the rest for morning. Pretended fullness. Today she doesn't. She hates herself a little for that. The diapers are there. The baby sleeps. Her body allows itself to rest for the first time in weeks. This is how the war shifts, she thinks. Not explosions, small mercies that rearrange the rules. Unexpected dignity from the enemy. 2 days later, she sees him again. Not planned. Never planned. She is at the pharmacy this time, buying rash cream she couldn't afford before. The baby is calm, clean, smelling faintly of powder and soap. She feels it before she sees it. That pressure in the air. He stands near the counter, arguing quietly with the supplier. His voice is controlled, but something sharp glints underneath. People give him space without being told. Aisha freezes. Her heart starts racing like it did in the store, like prey recognizing a silhouette. She turns to leave. Too late. He looks up. Recognition flickers across his face, not surprise, not possession, Just acknowledgement, like spotting a familiar face in a crowd after a long winter. He nods. That's all. No smile, no approach. Her breath stutters. This is worse than ownership, she realizes. This is respect, whispered thought. Why does that feel heavier? Outside, she sits on the low wall and rocks the stroller gently. The baby makes soft sounds, half dreaming. Aisha waits for fear to settle in her chest. It doesn't. What settles instead is confusion. Her whole life, the world has been divided cleanly. Good men, bad men, right side, wrong side. But the lines are smudging. Glimpses of an intact world. At home, letters come not written, but spoken. Her mother calls. Log kai kayanj, her mother says. You must be careful. Accepting help is dangerous. Aisha says nothing. Her sister texts, Allah sabdahai, depend, surfos bar karo. She stares at the message until the screen dims. Allah, dependence, shame. She looks at her baby instead. The baby smiles. A full smile. Gums and drool and joy that costs nothing. The room feels intact in that moment. Not rich, not safe forever, but whole. She thinks of the store again, of the shelves, of abundance stacked behind glass while she stood counting coins. She thinks of how easily the man had said, I'll take them all. Not loudly, not to be seen, just easily. Internal conflict, gratitude versus guilt versus shame. At night, the conflict comes. Sleep breaks into pieces. She dreams of standing in the diaper aisle forever. The prices change every time she looks. Her hands are empty. The baby is crying. The man is there and not there at the same time. She wakes with her heart hammering. Guilt presses down like a boot. What if this is a test? What if kindness is just another weapon? What if she has taught her child the wrong lesson? She presses her forehead to the baby's crib. I didn't know what else to do, she whispers. To God. To herself. To a future that isn't listening yet. The baby breathes steadily. No judgment. No doctrine. Just life insisting on itself. Diary entry. They told us monsters look a certain way. Nobody warned me they might sound gentle. The days pass. The diapers don't run out. The rash fades. The baby laughs more. And slowly, painfully, a truth begins to rise unwanted, undeniable. Being treated well is its own kind of battlefield because it forces a question. Aisha was never trained to answer. Who are you when survival no longer humiliates you daily? They told us monsters look a certain way. Nobody warned me they might sound gentle. The days pass, the diapers don't run out, the rash fades, the baby laughs more, and slowly, painfully, a truth begins to rise unwanted, undeniable. Being treated well is its own kind of battlefield. Because it forces a question, Aisha was never trained to answer. Who are you when survival no longer humiliates you daily? Transition to beater. Conflict one evening. As the call to prayer echoes faintly through open windows, her phone vibrates. An unknown number. One message. If you ever need help again, ask. No debt. Her hands tremble. Not with fear. With the weight of choice. The message doesn't disappear. Aisha doesn't reply. She places the phone face down on the floor, as if turning it over might quiet the question beating inside her chest. Outside, rain begins without warning. Heavy drops strike the tin awnings, sharp and metallic, like thrown coins. The alley fills with the smell of wet dust and diesel. The city exhales. She sits on the edge of the mattress, listening. Her baby sleeps, one arm flung outward, fingers curled around nothing. Trust made visible. This is the real war now, she realizes. Not hunger, not poverty. Choice. Diary entry. They taught us that survival meant obedience. Nobody taught us how to survive dignity. Letters keep coming. Not on paper, but in looks, in pauses, in sermons slipped casually into conversation. At the mosque, the imam speaks about patience, about tests, about not taking the easy road. Aisha lowers her gaze. Easy. She remembers the weight of the diaper bags cutting into her palms, the humiliation that burned hotter than hunger, the way her knees almost gave out at the counter. Easy is a word people use when they have options. At home, her mother visits. She notices the diapers immediately. The neat stack. The clean baby. Her mouth tightens. Ye sabkais, she asks. Alicia says nothing. Silence stretches between them, thick as smoke. Her mother sighs. Dunia bri hai, she says finally. Logor bi bray. Aisha thinks of his eyes. Tired. Human. She wonders how many people would believe her if she spoke the truth. The next encounter is unavoidable. A week later, the power goes out. Night crashes into the room, sudden and absolute. The fan stops mid-click. The baby stirs, startled. Aisha steps outside for air. Down the street, a generator hums. Lights glow behind a metal gate. Men stand around laughing softly. Cigarette tips flare and fade like distant stars. He stands apart from them. She recognizes him instantly. He looks older at night, less carved, more worn. She doesn't plan to speak. Her feet move anyway. The psychological warfare of kindness. You shouldn't be here, she says. The words coming out sharper than intended. He turns. For a moment, he looks surprised. Then something like relief passes over his face. I live here, he says simply. The generator hums between them. I didn't ask for. She stops, breathes. You changed things. He nods. That was the idea. That's not fair, she says. Her hands shake now, anger finally finding a voice. You don't get to do that and disappear. He watches her carefully. You think kindness is a trap, he says. Not accusing. Observing. Yes. That's because it usually is. The honesty hits harder than any lie. Then why? She asks. He looks past her, down the dark street, at the broken pavement, the closed shops, the quiet despair stitched into every wall. Because someone once did it for me, he says, and it ruined all the excuses I had left. Silence. Rain begins again, softer this time. Whispered thought. What if the enemy is just a mirror we were taught to hate? Letters from home. That night, Aisha writes a letter she will never send. Not to him. To herself. Diary entry. If goodness can come from unexpected hands, then evil must also be lazier than we pretend. Maybe the war was never where they told us to look. She thinks of the stories she grew up on. Heroes clean. Villains obvious. Lines bold and permanent. Real life erodes those lines quietly. She doesn't sleep much after that. She watches her baby breathe. Counts each rise and fall like proof of purpose. Identity begins to loosen inside her, not breaking, but reshaping. She is no longer just surviving. She is choosing. Resolution 32-35 min. The diapers finally begin to run low. Not panic-inducing. Not yet. Just a reminder that nothing lasts forever. Aisha stands in the same grocery store again. The same lights, the same hum. But her posture is different. She reaches for a pack, puts it in the cart, checks the price. Her hands are steady. At the register, the cashier scans. Beep, beep. Total 5,000, the girl says. Aisha pays. No trembling. No apology. Outside, sunlight warms her face. The baby babbles, delighted by something only they can see. She doesn't look for him. She doesn't need to. The lesson has already stayed. The war doesn't end with victory. It ends with clarity. Aisha walks home slowly, the baglight in her hand, her child heavy with trust against her chest. She knows now, propaganda isn't always loud. Sometimes it's whispered through fear. Sometimes it tells you who deserves kindness and who doesn't. And the most dangerous thing in the world is not cruelty. It is the moment you realize you were lied to about who was human. She steps into the alley. The door closes behind her. Life continues. Quietly. Stubbornly. Human.